Number 10, as announced exclusively on MLB Network's Twitter, it's DJ LeMahieu of the New York Yankees. LeMahieu had a frustrating season for New York, playing in just 125 games and missing the playoffs. An injury to his toe derailed a good start. He plays multiple positions, and at third base, he is still a plus defender. LeMahieu is going into his age 34 season. That's getting up there, but this is a player still worthy of respect after his stellar first 2 years in the Bronx. Those were outstanding. He averaged a high on base while slugging comfortably above 500 for 2 seasons. Coming off those years, by the way, he was ranked number 2 and number 1 by the Shredder at second base. We move to number 9, and at 9, Yandy Diaz of the Tampa Bay Rays. Diaz is another versatile player playing multiple positions for the Rays, but played mostly third base in 2022. He had a .296 batting average with a .401 on base last year. That on base was the 5th best in all of baseball last season. Diaz has good at-bats. He has superior contact skills and plate discipline, and he hits the ball hard. This is a good StatCast stat. It's hard hit per swing percentage. That rewards a player with a low swing and miss and with the ability to hit the ball over 95 miles per hour. Diaz is second in baseball to only Yordan Alvarez. 5th straight appearance in the top 10. First, though, at third base, high walk rate, also a lot of home runs as well, tied for 10th since the start of 2018. That player is Max Muncy from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Muncy was one of the game's better hitters before an injury to his elbow in the last game of 2021. He may not have recovered from that injury until late last year, slugging .303 through July, jumped to .500 over the last 2 months. Still had the same plate discipline, and over the last 3 years, he has the 3rd lowest chase rate in the major leagues. That is elite. Muncy enters his age 32 season. Here's the comparison with last year. He slugged .527 with a good on base in 2021. All of his numbers fell off last year. But remember, this is a guy who was top 5 in the Shredder at first base each of the last 4 years. And at 7, it's Justin Turner, now of the Boston Red Sox. Turner has been a Shredder stalwart, 8 years now in the top 10. He's now going into his age 38 season and joins the Red Sox after a successful run with the Dodgers. Got off to a terrible start last year, but over his last 59 games had elite production with a .549 slugging percentage. Turner's defense is still about league average, and that's good when you're league average. And over the last 3 years, you can see his offensive ranks. He is 6th in overall hitting, that's weighted runs created plus, and 5th in expected weighted on base. That measures the quality of contact at the plate. We move up to number 6, and that player is Alex Bregman of the Houston Astros. Bregman comes off a solid year, a full 155 games played with a 136 weighted runs created plus. 100 is league average. He still has elite contact skills. He has the 4th best contact rate in the game. He is a former number 1 at this position, and he's still just going into his age 29 season. Now, here's what happened to make him number 1 a few years back. In 2018 and 2019, he had a .409 on base, slugging .561. Those are big numbers. Down significantly the last 3 years after the sign-stealing scandal, but he's still a good player, and a pivotal year coming up for Alex Bregman. Now time for the top 5, and at number 5, it's Nolan Arenado of the St. Louis Cardinals. After back-to-back years of lower production, Arenado bounced back with an MVP-level year. He slugged .533, hit 30 homers, played 148 games, and did it all with his signature elite defense. Arenado was plus 19 in defensive runs saved last year. That's a big number. 2nd at the position, only to Ke'Bryan Hayes of the Pirates. Now, that elite defense with the productive bat gave Arenado one of the best seasons in baseball last year. WAR is an approximation, so Arenado and his teammate Paul Goldschmidt were neck and neck. Only Aaron Judge, who had a historic year, clearly had a better season than Nolan Arenado. And at 4, it's Rafael Devers of the Boston Red Sox. Devers just signed a big contract extension, which will keep him in Boston, and he has earned his place among the elite hitters in the game. Last year, he had a 141 OPS plus, hit 27 home runs, and is still just entering his prime, going into his age 26 season. Now, coming off 2 full seasons after the shutdown year, and if you put them together, I kind of did that for everybody, you get a bigger and better sample. In those 2 years, Devers is number 1 in slugging at the position and number 1 in expected weighted on base, which again measures the quality of contact. Now we go to number 3, and at 3, it's Austin Riley of the Atlanta Braves. Riley put up another excellent season. He's very durable. He played 159 games last year, hitting 38 home runs and slugging .528. The defensive metrics were conflicting for Riley last year, but he finished with +6 defensive runs saved. And over the last 2 years, Riley has been the best hitter at this position. He is #1 in weighted runs created plus, which you see right here. He's also #1 in runs created. Here is now the #2 player at third base.
Jose Ramirez is arguably the best third baseman in the game.
Ramirez with a drive! Away! Back and gone!
Oh, man, that was outstanding.
That's as pretty a swing as you'll ever see. Great play by Ramirez. Oh, my goodness!
Plain and simple, one of the very best players in the game.
Yes, Jose Ramirez checks in at #2 this year. He remains the total package: elite hitting, elite base running, plus defense. Ramirez played 157 games last year, and he's missed just 17 games over the last 3 seasons. He slugged .514 with the scrappy Guardians lineup last year, drove in 126 runs, all those slap hitters, but he's the power guy. I'll use RBIs when you drive in that many. Ramirez is one of the game's elite players. Over the last 6 years, he is 5th overall in WAR, just behind Nolan Arenado, Mookie Betts, and Aaron Judge are 1 and 2 in that span. Here now, the #1 third baseman.
What he's done for the Padres this year, he's definitely an MVP candidate. Machado was magical down the stretch. Machado to deep left, far into the San Diego night.
I mean, this is effortless pop.
Manny Machado has one of the all-time cannons. Man, oh man, oh Manny!
He's an all-star through and through.
Manny Machado, 8 years in the top 10 before this season, comes in at #1 for the first time. He's been an excellent player for a long time, but he has earned respect now for his power hitting, his standout fielding, and his durability since signing a big money deal with the San Diego Padres. So let's go back over the last 8 years. That's a long run now. Machado is 2nd in games played, and only by 2 games to Paul Goldschmidt, 2nd in total bases to Nolan Arenado, and in the overall game, he is 5th in that span in wins above replacement.